May is a particularly exciting month for me because, for one, it is my first month school-free. I finished my undergraduate degree as of a few days ago when I wrote my last exam, so I'm thrilled about it. And I'm also starting a new bullet journal, so I'm saying goodbye to my friend Harper, my Scribbles That Matter pink dotted notebook. I've loved using this dotted notebook, and I'm going to include a link in the description box below in case you want to get one for yourself. But I am actually trying out a new company called Peter Popper Press. This is probably one of the more budget-friendly bullet journals that I've ever really used, and I've heard really great things, so it should be fun to try it out. I think I've gone with the name Harry for this bullet journal. If you've been following me for a while, you know I like to name my bullet journals, and I like to name them H-letter names. So I've had a Henry, which was a white Leuchtturm 1917, Harper, the pink Scribbles That Matter, and now I have Harry, the black Peter Popper Press notebook. So, be sure to say hello to Harry in the comments, make him feel really welcome. I'm sure he would really appreciate that. The first spread that I am putting together is a month at a glance, and I had asked on Instagram stories for you guys to vote on different elements of this month's spreads. One of them being if you wanted to see a 1-page month at a glance or a 2-page month at a glance, and people seem to want the 2-page, so that's what I ended up doing. As a side note, if you're not already, you should definitely go follow me at Caitlin Marie De Silva on Instagram. I share lots of planner content, photos. There's also a series on Instagram story called Planner Monday where I share exclusive spreads that you never see here on the channel. And I also just share general life updates as well. Instagram is usually the first to hear about anything exciting. I had originally intended to do some sort of pastry baked good theme this month. So I would do doodles of croissants and cupcakes and mugs and all those delicious things, but I did not have the time to, I think, pull that off properly. So I went with something a lot more basic. I just used a lot of shapes like triangles and circles and line work in this month's spread, and I kind of pulled it all together by using the same colors, the same 2 colors, a pink and a blue color from Tombow, the colors 772 and 553 for all of the spreads. And I will have both those colors linked in the description box below. I'm also going to link all of the other products I used in today's video, including the circle tracer that I used to trace out this sun that I drew. I love the circle tracer. I think it was the best. I forget how much I spent on it. It wasn't too expensive, but it's been something that's been very valuable asset to my stationery collection because circles are not something I am very good at drawing freehand. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm finished school, which means I have so much more time to read, and I'm really thrilled about it because I have quite the large pile of nonfiction books accumulating on my bedside table. I always find that I slack a bit during the school season with nonfiction reading because, after a full day of reading articles for school, especially for me, like a lot of business articles and cases, the last thing I really want to do is read anything that requires a lot of brain power for pleasure. So now that I don't have those obligations, I feel like there's brain power freed up for some nonfiction reading. And one thing I like to do when reading nonfiction is keeping notes. So I created this spread to keep track of my favorite quote, key takeaways from the book, pages that I should reread, any notes in general that I have, because nonfiction books tend to be like books that I will want to revisit. The next spread is one that I created for pure fun. I had seen this idea on a blog. I will link it down in the description box below. I can't for the life of me remember the name right now. But she had created a decision spinner, and I had loved it so much that I created a self-care version for Planner Monday. But this time I am making a should I go get a coffee decision spinner, because that is a question I have on a daily basis. And honestly, sometimes I just don't want to have to use brain power to think about whether or not I should or shouldn't. So I'm going to ask my spinner now whenever I am indecisive about it. I created the spinner by creating a big circle, and then you have to create sections for different answers. So I may have skewed the results so that I get the answer that I want to get more often than not. My no section is significantly smaller than my yeses, but I'm okay with that because that means there's going to be more coffee in my future. And that for me is just a beautiful time. To use the spinner, you just take a paper clip and anchor it down with a pencil and flick away and hope that you get the answer that you want. Again, if you've been following my channel for a while, you've seen me use city skylines in various ways in my bullet journal. This month, I decided to use it as a decor piece for a to-do list spread. So I just use big rectangles to be buildings and small ones to be windows. It's a very minimalist city skyline, but I used it to represent Toronto because these lists are related to Toronto. The list that you're going to see me do on the left side of the page is things or places within Toronto that I want to go see. So going to Kensington Market or to checking out Yorkville, going to Toronto Island. That's a really great warm weather activity. And on the right side of the page is more life to do things. So I have a lot of work to do in my apartment over the next few months because I've taken over my apartment. My roommate has moved out and I have redecorating to do and different areas to organize. So that's its own big project, which I will be turning into a video series so you guys can come along with me. There's also, figuring out a content schedule for YouTube because YouTube is going to be more of my priority now. So I need to have a plan in place. As you can see, I decided not to go too crazy with the length of these lists. So if you wanted to create a spread kind of like this, but have it more detailed, then you could definitely minimize how big the city skyline was. But I liked how this one turned out. It's just a fun spread that's still kind of practical. The final spread is my weekly spread, and I had actually asked you again on Instagram stories for which layout I should go for with my weekly spread, and I had you guys vote between a vertical layout or a horizontal layout, and the race was very, very close. So I think next month I'm going to try and remember to do a horizontal layout because even though I tend to opt for more a vertical one, it seems like that's one that you guys are interested in seeing, but vertical did win, so that is what I did. And I started off with this patterned stripe at the top that each day of the week is going to hang off of. It will make a little bit more sense as I keep going. One thing that I did that was kind of fun to incorporate into each day of the week is also a mini habit tracker. So again, that was another thing I asked you guys to vote on, whether or not you wanted to see a dedicated habit tracker page or something that was incorporated into the weekly spread, and you guys wanted to see it incorporated into the weekly spread. So that's what I did. Each day has 5 little boxes that I use to keep track of hydration, meditation, yoga, gratitude, and reading. If I'm being honest, the past couple months I've been kind of slacking in the meditation, yoga, and gratitude department, but I'm going to change that this month because there are no excuses. I'm off of school, the weather is nicer, so it is a good time, I feel like, to just focus on some healthy habits. The hanging element, as you can see, comes from the fact that each day of the week is attached to the main horizontal bar with a line, and below each day of the week is where you can write down your list for that particular day, your to-dos. I know that there does seem to be like a lot of, I guess what you could call wasted space from the lines above each date, but I feel like you could use that line creatively by having boxes branch off of it to describe any events that are happening on that day, or even just writing alongside the vertical line anything major happening like an appointment or an exam that you may have. A photograph with a completely filled in version of the spread will be posted on my Instagram later on in May, so stay tuned for that. And that pretty much wraps up May's Plan With Me. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section down below which spread this month was your favorite. I'm kind of loving the spinner spread. Very different than anything I've done. Not practical at all, but still a huge fan of it. I will see you all very soon with the new video. And until then, bye everyone. I also want to make mention that Harry too also says bye. He is sad to already be done his first appearance on screen, but he's going out with style. Some journal, dancing, spinning action. Oh boy, this voiceover needs to end. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.